Radio, unfiltered, unafraid. Get it how you need to. Now, everywhere.
It's time for the Ed Tyll Show. Come on, everybody, listen to
helping out through this entire crisis. Here are the latest numbers on the virus. The number of confirmed cases is now over 1.5 million in the U.S. More than 280,000 people have recovered. And our first story, that startling claim from President Trump that he's been taking hydroxychloroquine to protect himself against COVID-19.
You know, before we even get that, could we, hold on to
warning that it can have dangerous side effects. Senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega starts us off with the latest this morning. Good morning, Cecilia.
Yeah, hold on, Cecilia. Was there any? Did you hear any context when he gave those numbers? Let's get George back. This is what when you say people in the media are creeps, Ed, how do you back that up? You're always calling them insensitive, nasty people. Okay, I'd like to back that up with evidence right here. The number of dead people that George Stephanopoulos is about to say, when you say a number like that, that is staggering to a human being. When a human being is delivering numbers like this, it's a staggering figure. So when people, I'm trying to pick my words carefully here, are deeply betrayed and have anger and hatred toward the morning news, I think this is why they're justified. Listen to the number of people he gives as the number affected and dead. It's a startling number, but listen to him say it.
We certainly do, my friend. So many healthcare heroes, as we know, have stepped up in the fight against COVID-19. We're excited for everyone to meet two first responders who came to New York to help out on the front lines. Megan is a paramedic.
All right, let's get back to before Megan and George's intro there. It was George's intro that made the statement. You see, when you're announcing how many people have died, and you say it in a way that doesn't recognize their death, I need that soundbite. I need his tone of voice mentioning the people who died. It's the number of cases. Is the
live right here on GMA, George.
You shouldn't be. You're right. What is the jocular
live
mood?
Right here.
Don't be in a good mood giving out death numbers. That's not where you have anything but solemnity. You're supposed to say a death and a disease number with humanity.
Have recovered. And our first story, that's...
It's awful. One more time. Here we go, George.
Live right here on GMA, George.
We sure can't, and they certainly do deserve it, and all the health heroes have been helping out through this entire crisis. Here are the latest numbers on the virus. The number of confirmed cases is now over 1.5 million in the U.S. More than 280,000 people have recovered. And our first story, that startling claim from President Trump.
Oh, my God, there's not even a mention. He doesn't acknowledge anybody died. Wow. What a piece of crap. What a human piece of crap. Yet your only job there is to report to the country on the mortality rate. It's disgusting, man. What I hate about this whole crowd of smart kids, they're the same smart kids from high school. They never cared. They pose. They don't care. They get on TV, one day they have enough venom for the President of the United States to strangle him themselves. You can feel it. On the day where ordinary human beings' lives are the story, does he dignify any of the sorrow, any of the devastation that happens in these families? He doesn't even dignify them. Him and the other one, you must remember when they come on TV and they want to be your friend. You must remember when your family died, they disrespected you on ABC's Good Morning America. He loves to talk about Allie and I back at that. Look at our lives. Look at our lives. Do you know any of the lives of your viewers who died? You cold-hearted son of a bitch. Your job is to give that number, and you laugh on the way into it, and you're jocular during it, and you don't have a moment for the dead. The president says all the time, in the middle of being spit on by these scumbags in the media, he sticks it in all the time, we think about the families and the loss. He says this, and he's accused of being an insensitive SOB, Mr. Sensitivity, Mr. TV personality. Don't forget Mr. Clinton's pimp for years and years, George Stephanopoulos. How do you think all those women got into that office without Hillary finding out? George and Carville pimping for the fat slob who was president. It was unbelievably embarrassing to have a slob like that and confronted, but he got a journalism job after he did the pimp work for President Clinton. So is he giving a care or a crap about anybody who gasped for air and died overnight since the last time he was on TV? Did he even mention anybody who died? Here's the number of cases. Here's the number recovered. You don't have the nerve to even mention people who lost their lives through no fault of their own. I mean, you've got to be a certain kind of sociopath, George, to say nothing about a pile of dead bodies. You are broadcasting from one of the hottest hotspots on the globe. All of that death registers a 0 when the camera comes up because you're laughing. You're jocularly conversing. What a douchebag. Why don't you start telling jokes in front of a coffin with the widow nearby? You're pretty tone deaf from where I'm sitting that your viewers have lost family members. People have watched your sorry ass for years and years on TV have died. You don't even mention their death. But you're all anti-Trump, and Trump's this and Trump's that. But you can't mention the victims. You're too busy kidding around. And then he gives the cases and the recovery. Wow. Talk about dishonest journalism. Talk about burying the lead. Talk about who doesn't give a rat's ass about ordinary people. The other night I'm watching Robert Redford, speaking of ordinary people, he directed that. Mary Tyler Moore and Tim Matheson. And it was all about a family that was so uptight that they had no idea that the kid was suicidal. He kills himself, and they're all completely shocked by the suicide. Ordinary people carry a lot of burden. When you forget about ordinary people dying, and you're a news guy, and you got a news show, and you're pretending to know the news, and you exclude the people who lost their lives as victims, you got to be pretty low. I don't know what drug George is on. Maybe George is on an antidepressant, and he can't feel anything. Maybe he's not built to empathize with people and only attack his enemies. I would say he's a good half American then. If you're only negative and you don't know how to be positive, if you are so blind you can't see ordinary people losing their lives because you're too busy joking with your rich friends who are protected by every device your boss can come up with, these people were not so lucky. And you can't mention them. You can't say word one about these people to give them the dignity that they deserve at all. They don't matter. They didn't happen. When you leave something out of a newscast, people are like, wow, I didn't even know that happened.
Hydroxychloroquine to protect himself against COVID-19.
The president says he's been taking it for over a week, despite an FDA warning that it can have dangerous side effects.
You know, I got to hand it to, what's his name there, the ex-football player, at least. That was a decent intro. All right, the Ed Tyll Show, man, a rockin' show today. The Shannon Burke Show is up next, and the Ed Tyll Show will continue tomorrow.
Man Radio.
I'm Bridget Ellison. Here are your headlines for Tuesday, May 19th. The